Hey everybody, I'm Christopher Green. You're watching Green Wave TV, alternative media television. It is Monday, June 24th. I am sourcing and have been breaking down the Michael Hastings mysterious car crash over the weekend, sourcing the story, looking to nab some exclusive interviews with friends, family, those were at the scene of the crime. For those of you that don't know the story, Michael Hastings was driving in the middle of the night, some early morning, according to reports, over 100 miles per hour in his white Mercedes, bursts into a ball of flames. The engine, from the impact of a tree, allegedly leaves the car and explodes out of the car. Now, of course, Michael Hastings, 33 years old, roughly my age, young guy, had a brother that served in the war overseas in the Middle East, very well known for his Rolling Stone breaking article, really kind of made him famous, that ruined the career of General McChrystal. McChrystal's remarks that he made about the Obama administration actually was the end of him. That's what Hastings took part in. McChrystal was actually later replaced by General Petraeus, which digs even more into the scandal around Benghazi Gate, his exit, Jill Kelly, the love affair, which I think was bullshit from the start. I think was an absolute and total lie. For some reason, they were pushing him out by the wayside. He was stepping down to draw the attention away from Benghazi. But now we have the greatest scandal that we've ever seen in American history with the NSA and this mass surveillance program coming to light. And Edward Snowden, I've mentioned this, I personally think was dead wrong on the initial report that we made. I still have a lot of questions around Snowden, but it appears more and more likely now that what Snowden had released to the public was a legitimate leak. That although he had worked for the NSA and CIA, he was a genuine good doer who was leaking the truth out to the American people. Now we've got people dying. Now we've got people getting Andrew Breitbarted, friends of Hastings, and this is damning. This is absolutely damning. Came out over the weekend. Even the mainstream media is reporting this. Hastings sends an email to colleagues hours before his fiery car crash. He says, "Hey, the feds are interviewing my close friends and associates. Perhaps if the authorities arrive at BuzzFeed headquarters, may be wise to immediately request legal counsel before any conversations or interviews about our news gathering practices or related journalism issues." And then he says specifically, quote, "Also, I'm onto a big story and need to go off the grid for a bit." So the question you should be asking what was the big story Hastings was working on, it was about to break? Because now he's dead. So this mysterious car crash, he's driving a CL Mercedes, I believe, white. It's a coupe, goes over 100 miles per hour. There's a cameraman who gets on the scene of the accident, shows the firing blaze in Inferno. The body was so badly damaged and burned that they had to check dental records. So here are questions I have. What was the story Hastings was working on? Number one. Was this a legitimate accident? People say, well, Chris, he could have just been drunk. Well, then I want to interview his family and friends. Was it characteristic of Michael Hastings to go drinking late night and drive drunk and speed 100 plus miles per hour to his reckless death? I don't know. Those are questions that we need to investigate. Could it have been a drone strike? Could it have been a bomb? You know, it used to be you actually had to put a bomb underneath people's car and get to it. But now with the surveillance state, the Google Glass, put it on your eyeball, total totalitarian control of everything your entire life. Now they can take remote control via Bluetooth, via the GPS systems, the OnStar systems that comes in Mercedes. They can actually control your car. They can put the equivalent of a brick on your pedal, navigate it right into a tree if they decide to get rid of you. So this is just dark. I mean, I feel like we're going into the depths of the underworld of the Obama administration and a massive cover-up. Clearly, because there's been scandal after scandal, whether or not this be Benghazi, the IRS, the wiretapping of the Associated Press, and now the death of a very well-known journalist who was onto a big story. You know, other questions people, and I've seen swirling around the internet, are, did he fake his death? Was this a way for him him to fake his death, get off the grid. So to me, this is absolutely unbelievable. I would encourage you, maybe this provides some clues. I've already read this a few times. One of his recent articles he wrote for BuzzFeed was Why Democrats Love to Spy on Americans. I'll put a link to that in the description box below, where he gives us a little bit of an indication of what story he was covering regarding this mass surveillance state. Now, of course, whistleblower Snowden, and what's also amazing about this is Hastings had actually put out and was trying to contact WikiLeaks' attorney, the same attorney that Julian Assange uses to protect himself, because he knew he was scared. He knew that the FBI and he knew these people were on to him, and he knew that he was on a big story. Friends say there's a Biggs who was on camera. Mainstream media caught this, said it was very uncharacteristic of Hastings to be worried to send these kinds of emails out. So again, what was Hastings working on? What is the Obama administration covering up? You know, could it have been the Clintonista, the Clintons, Hillary 2016, that put the whack on him? Of course, she's got her sights and she's announced her presidency in the not too distant future, which is absolutely berserk, absolutely amazing. And it's amazing that the liberals and the Democrats in this country could point a finger at George W. Bush and say, look at his practices. Look at how he's wiretapping people. And then Obama comes on camera and says he won't do that when he becomes president. He's a part of the biggest, largest scandal cover-up that we've ever seen. You know, you think it's bad now that we've got a cell phone in every pocket, we can be tracked at any time, they can now take control over our cars? I was speaking to a car friend of mine who's a car broker. He was telling me the other day, about a week and a half ago, he said, Christopher, we were talking about self-driving cars, how that's so 1984 Orwellian, how Google is controlling that technology. He told me specifically Mercedes has the preeminent technology on self-driving cars right now, but it's mostly a liability thing that they haven't rolled this out to the public yet. Hastings is driving a Mercedes. I didn't even put that two and two together when I initially was breaking the story. It was just kind of floating on the surface of my brain. So I'll be digging into more of this. We'll be bringing you the hard-hitting truth in your face as usual. Please send us any source material, any tips to tips@amtvmedia.com. I'm Christopher Green. Stay tuned. I've got a live radio broadcast at 1 p.m. Arizona time, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. Hard-hitting it in your face. Get it out. Subscribe to us on YouTube at cgreen34, Facebook at Greenwave TV, and Twitter at Greenwave. Peace.